Ivy Valentine subscribes to Mark Yoon, so should you. Enjoy your treat!
What's up again, guys? Today I actually want to talk about Resident Evil 4 Remake again, and what we're going to be talking about today is actually the Mercenaries mode that's coming up this Friday. So we already covered like what characters were data leaked to be in this mode in the last video, that is at least for base roster considerations. But what we want to talk about today is actually based on a couple comments that I've received about like how they're going to play or something like that. And I figure it's pretty similar to the original Resident Evil 4 in terms of what loadout they're going to have, with the exception of Luis, obviously, because he hasn't had a part in Mercenaries before in the original game, so this will be a fresh loadout for him. But let's take a look at the OG Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries mode, and take a look at some of the stages and some of the loadouts for the characters that were already confirmed, and we will actually then have a good idea of what these characters are going to have, what they're going to play as, like stuff like that. And I'm going to add some stuff onto it, obviously, that I think are going to be changed. Now, first of all, what is Mercenaries mode for those of you who maybe this is your first Resident Evil game, or even returning players, and we'll get to the loadouts in a minute. But Mercenaries mode is like, in Resident Evil 4, it was a single player experience where it was kind of like a time attack mission kind of thing, where you'd go around just defeating enemies, and then you'd have to find like time extenders. These would be in the form of like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, something like that. Sometimes it would be dropped by bosses, sometimes it would be in barrels or whatever, or like in Resident Evil 5, it was just like these crystals that were like placed around the map. There were 4 stages in the original game, but I think there's going to be 5 in this one at least, just because of the new area that we have in Resident Evil 4 Remake. If you haven't played it yet, then surprise, after the castle, there's actually like an island that is available to play on for the last couple chapters, and that's where I think the last stage is going to be. But now that we know like what time attack is, it's getting the highest score, so obviously extending your time gives you a higher score. In 4, you can actually unlock things, similarly to like 5 and whatnot. It's like based on like how many stars you get, or what your score is, you would get different costumes or characters to be used within Mercenaries mode, and sometimes within the game itself. But I think that this might stay. I can't see them not giving us rewards based on everything. Now, I don't know what those rewards are going to be. Maybe it's unique weapons that we can have within the story mode. Maybe it's something that we just unlock within Mercenaries itself, but there's got to be something, as well as a slew of new trophies for the mode, right? Now, I was speculating, or not speculating, I was hoping out loud that we would get co-op in this mode, because the first one was single player in Resident Evil 4, the original. I honestly don't think we're going to get co-op, at least not now. This would be the mode that we get co-op in because of the Ashley stuff in the story. I don't think it's possible in the RE4 original story, but I think we can get it in Mercenaries. I just don't know if they're going to. How much are they going to stray away from the original Mercenaries? Because everything seems to be, so far from what's been in the data code, that they're pretty much sticking pretty close to it, with the exception of Luis. But anyway, I'm going to show I'm going to talk about the stages real quick, and then we're going to talk about the loadouts like right after that. So the first stage we have is like the village center, and like some of the doors are still open that you can run around and go through. You don't have to like find locks or anything, obviously. Then stage 2 is the castle. Stage 3 was the base fort area, and stage 4 was completely unique to the original game. It was like a dockyard with like a warehouse. I don't know if that's going to return, but if it does, it'll sure be interesting. But I'm sure we can get a couple extra stages squeezed out of this, just because, like I said, of that last part, and maybe different parts of the maps, because the maps have been open and expanded based on the original game, and they are a little bit more open and explorable, so maybe we do get some bigger sections in these new stages. At least that's what I'm hoping for anyway. Now, each character, the way Mercenaries works, has their own like locked loadout. Now, what this means is that you're not getting like different weapons within the mode itself. At least is how it's been done in the past. Each character that you choose is kind of like an RPG style, so you're doing it for the tactic of like, what am I going to bring in there, what am I going to use. Now, this works great in co-op, which is why I think it should have co-op, but whatever. Because of the fact that you can just like mix and match loadouts, like someone can be like, okay, well, I'll have the TMP on my character. We see this with Resident Evil Revelations, even though that game has co-op missions. It's a similar thing. It's like you want to bring characters that have the loadouts that are better for what you're accomplishing. Like, do you want minimum like magnum rounds, which are going to be hard to find some rounds within the level? Do you want like shotties to like crowd control? Do you want TMPs, flash grenades, etc.? So now let's talk about the loadouts that they had specifically in RE4 Original. And this is, I'm bringing this up just based on the data leaks of like who was going to be in Mercenaries mode. So let's just start with those. And just to mind you, to preface this, every character with a different costume. So like we saw Ada, and then we see Ada with like her red dress. I don't know what the red dress is going to have because like they all have different loadouts per costume. Every costume consists of a different character. So every different costume has a different loadout. So let's talk about that right now, and let's just jump into what their actual loadouts are. So for Leon Kennedy, as you can see on the screen, his original loadout was the Blacktail, the riot gun, a first aid spray, handgun ammo, and shotgun shells, and then his knife. He also had his specific melee counters, which were head kick, leg kick, and then his like suplex, which we know now you just have to like shoot them in the leg, get them to bend down to their knee in this game, go around behind them, and then it suplexes them. So that's fairly simple, but this is like the loadout for Leon. Again, I don't know what the Gangster Leon's going to have. I'm assuming Gangster Leon's going to come with the typewriter. That's just like similar to what they do, so they're all going to have like different loadouts again based on their costumes. Ada's normal costume, she came with the Punisher, a TMP, semi-automatic rifle with the semi-automatic scope, the rifle ammo, handgun ammo, TMP ammo, 3 incendiary grenades, a first aid spray, and her knife. Her melee attacks were, the head attack was a fan kick and the leg attack was a back kick. Krauser now was a little bit of a unique situation. He actually didn't come with any weapons, but his melee did like more damage. It doesn't say that here on the screen, but he actually had like more damage with his melee, and he came with Krauser's bow, which was just like a bow and arrow. He had 30 arrows, 3 flash grenades, which actually is really good and OP for him, because if you're getting flash grenades, then those, you know, when you're getting swarmed by, obviously the tentacle head one, so you can just like throw a flash grenade and take them all out at once. A first aid spray and a knife. His head attack was a kick, his leg attack was a knee, and he had a special Plaga arm blade thrust, which is, if you played the original game, you saw that like he transformed with like a blade arm. And I think it's similar in this, though I'm on like level 11, so I'm not sure yet. But I'm just taking my time with the game. I want to get the experience of the story, and then I'll go through the separate playthroughs later. But anyway, we're getting to everyone's favorite hunk now, and his loadout was the custom TMP, a TMP ammo times 50, 3 hand grenades, and first aid spray. His head attack was a neck breaker, and his leg attack was a kick. Wesker had a rifle, semi-auto, a handgun, a silencer for the handgun, the Killer 7, 4 hand grenades, 3 flash grenades, 1 incendiary grenade, and first aid spray, which makes him kind of OP in my opinion. I did like him better, I think, in 5 when he had his Magnum, his like custom Magnum, but this was OP in 4 also. His head attack was a thrust punch, and his leg attack was the Chikyo Chagi. So those are the characters that we like know about that are going to be in the game. Besides like Luis, I don't know what Luis is going to have. Probably his like revolver or whatever. There's going to be like a lot of variation between these, but this is just based on the last game. I'm going to be showing screenshots on it while I talk about this. But I don't know, like there's going to be some fun. Like Luis is probably going to have like something similar. And again, Hunk may actually get more in this depending on what they want to do with the character, and same goes for a Krauser. I can't see them just giving him like the bow, but then again, like it depends on how original they want to stick to this. I just hope that there is like something like fun and new, or we at least have the promise of like more stuff being added to Mercenaries mode, because this was, if I recall, like the first Mercenaries mode. So at that point in time, it was still like fledgling, and then with 5 and 6, they added co-op and a bunch of different cool things and features, a lot of new characters. Resident Evil Revelations 1 was co-op, the second one wasn't. The first one was co-op, but like you had a lot of crazy characters within that, and each with different costumes that came with different loadouts, same as I'm expecting for this. And new stages would be great to see. So I know we're getting pumped and hyped for Mercenaries mode on Friday. I'm still enjoying the original game. Haven't started my second playthrough yet. And if you've played Resident Evil before, you know that there's like a ton of playthroughs that go into these things just to unlock everything and just to do everything and platinum the trophies or achievements if you're playing on Xbox. But so I did a poll on the last video that I want to show you guys now, because I usually talk about my polls at the end of the videos. And I said, who do you want to play as the most in Mercenaries? And we had 34% of the vote went to Ada Wong, 29% of the vote went to Wesker, 14% went to Luis, and 23% went to Hunk, with a lot of the individual comments that were on that video talking particularly about like Hunk and about Wesker and some about Krauser. So I couldn't fit everybody into votes because you can only do like 4 votes on the community tab. So after every video I do post a new poll that I actually show on the end of the next video. So go over to my community tab when you're done watching this and try to vote on the poll if you want. And we're going to bring this discussion to an end now, but I want to hear from you in the comment section, and I also want to take this over to the Discord. So if there's anything that you want to talk about there, just join me over on the Discord. We can chat about a bunch of other things. There's like tons of different tabs that I have where the community talks about a various amount of issues, so we could just talk about all that over there. Any and all thoughts are always welcome in the comment section down below, guys. I want to thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it, and as I always say, I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.